the third Taiwan special episode recorded since the first one Tuesday. All right, and we're recording. Again, these live stream on Twitch when I record them. So you can go peruse jesse.coffee, scroll down to the bottom. You'll see whatever recent videos I've got on different series that are there. You go down to the bottom, you'll see Twitch, and you can click on recent episodes, and you can watch all these in advance if you're interested. Also, you can't get this amazing tank top that I'm wearing in this incredible... I'm still sweating in this thing over here in Taiwan. It's only November after all. I mean, goodness, how... great. We got the... Can you hear that ambulance? Someone tell me if you can hear that ambulance. Okay. Please go to jesse.coffee, click on the shirts, buy shirts. I am going to be coming out with the new shirt, the Taiwan Special, introducing the Taiwan Special t-shirt. It's not that expensive now, but I am going to raise the price significantly once I make another shirt. I've got another shirt that's coming out. It's going to be cheap. But if you want shirts, you can order. If you're in Taiwan, click on the Chinese. You'll know how to order in Chinese. It's much less expensive there to order it in Taiwan. And... in the States, it's going to be cheaper now. While I will do legacy shirts, but they're going to be expensive. Shirts are coming out. So Jesse.coffee is there. Little thing here, Inside Baseball, Jesse.coffee. The Twitch account, I stream these live to Twitch while I'm recording the audio, which goes into the regular podcast. And I do it all usually in a group of settings. So there's some continuity to the thoughts. And because I don't want to keep getting my little studio set up constantly as I'm doing other things all week. My Twitch has a thing, I think it's called a sleep screen. So when you're not broadcasting live on Twitch, there's this picture that just sits there that people see. Well, I had this shot across, it was in Hong Kong from Causeway Bay looking over at Kowloon. And it was through the fence. Nobody would probably ever figure out what it was. And it had this beautiful, gorgeous flower. Probably it's some type of orchid. Asians, especially Chinese culture, they like flowers. Well, I didn't think it was so cool, so I redid the graphic. So there's a newer, better graphic there with all these weird circles and my J Coffee microphone logo there. So Jesse.coffee. Scroll down, look for the Twitch thing. It's after the YouTube stream things. And if you want to watch these early, you're welcome to. You're welcome to. That's Twitch. Or you can wait for them to come out in sequence. All right. I mentioned yesterday that I would talk about this thing that I've discovered about Democrats. I deal with a lot of people that don't know what you're talking about. In fact, that's most people. Limbaugh was talking when Limbaugh was at Trump's rally. He said, "People told me I was going to fail." They always do that. While you're going, someone's always going to tell you that you're going to fail. Always. It's a force of nature. People will tell you you're going to fail. The world is, and she says, failure is easy. You don't have any books on how to fail. You don't have books about great failures. Failure is easy. Anyone knows how to fail. Anyone can fail. Succeeding at something is not easy. So when you're doing something that's going to succeed, this is the thing. People will tell you, I'm done quoting Limbaugh. I'm here to the Jesse idea now. People will tell you that you will fail, not because they have a good reason to believe so, but because you're doing things differently from how they would do them. No matter how much failure most people have in their lives, they think that their way is the way of success. They could fail at every turn, but they still think their way is the right way. In fact, they don't even think about what success really means. For most people, success means the correct way. Because success is what you're supposed to want, right? People kind of sort of, that's a cultural thing. Other people, one guy said, "What is success?" I said, "Well, success is doing what you tried to do." "No, that's not. Success doesn't have to mean that you've got 2.5 kids and a white picket fence around your house." I said, "Well, I never said that. I just said that success means that you did what you set out to do." Well, whatever that was. No, you're dodging the question. Does success mean you're happy? And I'm like, dude got to support and sort out stuff in dude's thinking here. I've had these conversations. We all have conversations with stupid people. The world is run by stupid people. I've talked about that before. It's usually cronyism and friends getting each other into power. Why is it that people can't seem to figure out what's working and what's not? Why is it? Now, Madison, the Federalist, who actually wrote a few real papers rather than BSing, boilerplating them like Hamilton did. Hamilton had ties to the bank. Hamilton wanted a single federal government so that his banker friends in Europe, he was probably getting some kickback. He wanted his banker friends in Europe to have a single country so all these American colonies would have one single central bank. That's what Hamilton was on. He didn't really believe that there needed to be a federal government to help the people. He was out selling something he didn't believe in just so he could get money from it. Yeah, Hamilton was, I don't know why you'd read that idiot. I've listened to 2 hours of his boilerplate. I'm a writer. I know boilerplate when I read it. Maybe it was interesting to Scalia, but I'm a writer. I've got 1 million words in circulation. Now, Madison, though, had some interesting points. And I think the application today with Madison is he wasn't trying to protect the country from stupid people. He's trying to protect them from liberals. He's trying to protect them from hippies and snowflakes. There's something about success that people don't understand. People don't know. I mean, success versus fail. Those are the antonyms. You know, you've got black and white. In politics, you've got Democrat and Republican. You've got left and right. You've got up and down. And you've got success and failure. Those are the word pairs. So if you're not succeeding, you're failing. If you're not failing, you're succeeding. Those are the options there. That's how that works. I suppose you could get philosophical. Or can you? Okay, but I'm not going to get into all that. Success and failure are the basic, simple antonym set. So, most people don't know which one they're on. They can't. People know right from left. I mean, you know how to know right from left? You hold up your hands and you point to this. You do like the finger gun thing, you know, thumb and index finger. And then you hold your hands up, looking at the back of your hands with the L shape. And the one that makes a real L is the left hand, if you ever forget. Okay, but up and down, most people have that squared away. Republicans and Democrats, most people have that squared away. But success and failure, people don't seem to figure out. They only know that they do things this way, and they think that's the right way, and success is the thing we're supposed to want, right? So the way that I've always done things, the way I'm going to keep doing things, without any question about whether or not it's actually working or not, or yeah, I think I repeated myself in that sentence repeatedly, but there's no gauge about whether it's working. It's just, this is how I've been doing this, how I'm going to keep doing it, and therefore it is the right way, and because it is the right way, it is therefore the successful way. You're not going to succeed because you're not doing things the way I would do them. Now, they don't say it that simple way, but that's the flow of logic. If you do the journalism thing, interview people, boil it down, summarize this sentence, summarize that sentence, you find that what's going on at the core of people's thinking is that this is how they do something, and if you're not doing it that way, they'll tell you that you will fail even though the results are coming in. They can't see the good results when it's right in front of them. You could have a farmer that's pouring poison all over his crops. His crops are dying, but because he's always done it that way, he thinks that's the way to do it. And the farmer right across the street, which he can see, is going through his farm, going through his fields, raking in lots of, well, let's say it's an apple farm, bushels of apples. People are coming from all over to buy the apples, and the farmer who poisons his farm will never figure out that it's the farming method, watering versus poisoning, that made the guy across the street have everything work. And he'll be mad. You stole those. You owe me some of that. And he'll never figure out, gee, maybe you should stop spraying poison on your farm. In fact, the farmer who fails and poisons his farm, well, I mean, like sprays him, kills him, doesn't have any fruit. He will go across the street and tell the successful apple farmer, you should spray poison on your crops. And he really believes he's going to help. People don't get when they're losing. They don't know when they're losing. I really think this is from classroom education. It's all about mode and being in a certain way of doing things. You get in this culture where you sit in your desk and you shut your face and you sit there in a classroom and the teacher tells you, do things this way. The teacher doesn't have to work to keep the job. They get tenured. That's how teachers' unions work. My father was a teacher. We had great health care. He wasn't usually worried about losing his job because he had tenure. Teachers are in public education and it's hard to fire them, and the money keeps coming in because it's tax dollars through the government. If the teacher says something bad in the classroom, it means that the parents call, complain to the principal talks to the teacher, and then nothing happens. Because you're not going to go to a different school district. Starting a school is really difficult. The kids are going to keep going to the same classroom. At most one kid's going to move, but it's not going to change anyone's paycheck. Teachers do whatever they want, and the money keeps coming in, and no one can do anything about it. They can do a horrible job of education, and the money keeps coming into the school district, because money in a school district is not based on the test scores of the students. It's based on the income of the taxpayers. Now, with school of choice, you'd have some people actually leaving from one district to another, but there aren't many choices where that's concerned. So even then, not many teachers lose their jobs. And when it happens, it's like, oh, that person randomly died of some unknown illness and they're gone. It's not because they were a bad teacher or anything. There's no connection to doing a good job and earning your money when you're in any public funding, education included. So you've got these teachers their life does not hold them accountable for their ideas to be correct in order for them to continue their paychecks. I was very blessed with an awesome band director in high school. But if we'd had a terrible band director, the band director probably would have still been horrible band director, horrible band, horrible ratings, but friends with the other teachers. That band director's job security would have been fine. And we had a band director. He was awesome. We played AAA music as a B or C school. Like, I think we were a C school, had a B-size band, and we were playing AAA music, getting first division ratings, and in the school made up 20% of the school. Or as one girl pointed out, not only 20%, but as much as 1/5. Everybody kind of looked around and laughed because nobody was allowed to argue with her because of her attitude. But we had this amazing band director, and the school board hated him. He was successful. He was doing a good job. He had 20% of the school. He had great, awesome ratings. It was awesome. And the school hated him. And it wasn't because he did a good job. It was because they couldn't control him. They weren't just jealous of his good job. They didn't care about music. They didn't care about music enough to hate it on the school board. They just couldn't control him. And that was all that they were concerned about. And that was public education. Now, some of those board members had big time losses in some of the elections, but that was it. The teachers, it didn't matter. Now, that band director, his job security was not affected by his performance. He got more flack because he did a better job. Had he done a bad job, his job security would have been just the same, and he would have gotten less flack because he would have been easier to control. It's pure politics in education. None of it has anything to do with the ability to take an idea and go out into the real world and make the world a better place. There's no accountability in education. The teachers themselves do not have better lives for doing a good job in education. So they can't teach students how to have a better life. Their lives are all theory without any accountability. And as students are surrounded in this environment without any accountability, if students don't go to school, you've got the welfare state, money keeps coming in without any accountability, and you've got this whole mass population of people who don't know how to make life work. And when life is failing, they don't know that it's failing. It's not that they don't know why. They don't even know that it's failing. So Trump gets up there and he tells his CNN dweeb, okay, you've asked enough questions. Sit down. Sit down. Put down, and the guy keeps talking. No, you're done. Next question. You're done. I told you you're done. It's the next question. There's other people that have questions. You're done. Sit down. You're done. Sit. You know, you are a bad person. You are a very bad, disrespectful person. You're a mean person. You shouldn't be working for your network. You should be ashamed. CNN is Trump talks to the guy this way because he won't sit down and close his mouth. And you get the masses who don't even know if they're succeeding or failing, let alone why. They see Trump telling a bad person that he's bad. Oh, he said mean things. And that's all they hear. That might be the only thing they hear from Trump for months. And then they make a decision based on that. Well, I think what Trump said was actually good all by itself. But they don't talk that way with their friends because they aren't tough on themselves enough to kick their own butts to succeed. If you're going to succeed, you've got to kick butt, especially your own butt. And people who don't know the difference between success and failure, let alone the reasons why, when they're losing, they don't know it. Those people certainly don't know how to kick their own butts to do a good job. And when they see someone out there doing this weird stuff, how could you talk that way? That's a weird idea. You've got these ideas. This is so weird. And it's the way to make stuff work. It's a way to make stuff happen. They don't know what it is. They've never seen that before. Okay, so Taiwan special. What's this have to do with me? I'm over here in Asia, and I was having this. You know what? I'm gonna have to do a fourth episode. I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna do it. Bonus episode. It's gonna be tomorrow, and it's gonna be about how I've seen this success mentality work and not work over in Asia. See you then. Well, hear you then, or however that works.